This is Worldwide Flava Network. Coast to coast and worldwide.
Hey, you guys, this is Anika from Anika Tells All.
Tune in every Thursday from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Okay.
Worldwide Flava Network. See you then.
This show is being sponsored by Worldwide Flava Network. If you are looking to have your own radio show, come and join us here on WWFN Online Radio. Contact us via our website, www.worldwideflavornetwork.com. It's your girl, A. Michelle. Join us on Sundays from 10 until 12 noon for the Baltimore Flavor Gospel Show on Worldwide Flava Network.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Oh. Listen. Ever since we met, guess all I do is think about you. Hotter than the month of June. Baby girl, I'm so into you. Your style, your smile, girl, it drives me insane. Hope that you feel the same. Say you love me. Say you love me. Yeah. Say that you love me. You love me.
Oh, I can't deny how good you make me feel inside. And I am so grateful that you came into my life. Boy, since the first day that I laid eyes on you, I knew that from that moment that I want to be with you. Thank you. Love me. Yeah. Say that you love me. Yeah. You love me.
Oh, baby.
The way you kiss me, the way you hold me, it's so exciting. Oh, I like it. The way you kiss me, the way you love me, it's so exciting. Oh, I like it.
Say you love me, baby. Say you need me, baby. No doubt. When I wake up in the morning, I'm so in love with you, baby. Yeah. Can you feel it, darling? Feel it, baby. Feel it, baby. Oh, yeah.
Good evening, everybody. It's your girl, A. Michelle, here on Hot Topics Live on this rainy Thursday night, y'all. This nice, rainy, chilly Thursday night. It's a nice little evening to be just kind of like chilling back, laying back in the house. And if you are connected with us here on Facebook, you should be connected to us on YouTube as well. Because if you home, you can watch it right on your smart TV. You can watch us on a smart TV. You can watch us on what's the thing called Roku, like all that and stuff. So like if you just want to tune into us, just go to YouTube and check us out and see us on a full screen, so you ain't got to watch it on your phone and all that good stuff. But this is the day that the Lord has made, and let us rejoice and be glad in it. I'm glad all of you all are joining us on this evening. It has been wonderful day to day. It was supposed to rain all day, but it just rained in this evening, so I'm happy about that. And so I'm glad you all could join us. And I'm just glad to be here. I really am, with all that we got going on in this world. I'm just happy and grateful. And, I'm in awe with a lot of the things that happens in the news. Not that we're surprised, but we just want things to get better. And that's my prayer every day. But, here on Hot Topics Live, we like to have a little fun as well. And so we still like to keep the news fresh in your mind so that you know what's going on, for those of you who don't know what's going on. And I need y'all to calm down about that chicken sandwich. I really need y'all to do that. And somebody posted something today, Gigi.
Lord.
Literally, it was like real though. It was real.
Okay. I was like, do I need
because the lines was long at the Popeyes. And they said have that same energy when it comes time to vote.
Yes.
So I'm just saying, the same energy y'all got to be in that line for that chicken sandwich, had that same energy to be in line to go vote in 2020.
Yeah.
That's all we asking you to do. I ain't trying to tell you who to vote for, what to vote for, how to vote. We ain't trying to tell you that. We just want you to have the same kind of energy you got for that fried chicken sandwich that's gonna kill you. Cause it's grease.
Like
it's fried. Right. Like it's grease, it's fried, full of salt. I ain't trying to talk about Popeyes. I used to be a Popeyes lover. Don't eat it now. But I'm just saying, I need y'all to have the same energy when it comes time to vote in 2020. That same energy to get out there and vote, because our votes are important. People's lives matter. Everybody's life. It ain't about one culture. It's about all cultures. And we all matter in this day and time. So we just, we had to put that little plug in there as far as voting. So get out there and vote. If you have not registered, please go register to vote so we can have your vote count in 2020, because we need it badly. Also, on a serious note about the Popeyes chicken, I need you guys to really, really seriously take this with from my heart, that I need you to really think about. There's nothing worth your life over some food. It's just not worth it. The fighting. I saw a girl on a video tearing up her car to bogart the line in the drive-thru. Like, that's not even worth it. So at the end of the day, I just need everybody to, get it together. There's nothing that stressful that you got to be all worked up. Even if the person did jump in front of you, sometimes let them do that. You don't know how the blessing can come by letting that other person get in front of you. Could be a blessing to you. So, just the employees fighting in that work there. I just need all that. I need y'all to bring that in under wraps. I need it to get together. I need them to get it together.
Popeyes corporate still ain't said nothing though.
Right. And that's where I have a problem. That's where I have a problem. But because we're not investigators of what we do and eat and who we support, if they really know that lady is not the owner, she's not the CEO. She's the mascot. Okay. So if y'all really want to be supporting our own, and you want to have that same incentive to support your own carryouts that are owned by African Americans in your community. And that does not just mean here in Baltimore. That's where around the world. If we have other cultures and we have our own African American, have them same kind of lines at those restaurants, supporting those businesses. The same way. I'm not trying to tell you not to go to Popeyes. I'm just saying the same incentive you're having to fight over this chicken, go to another carryout in your community that's owned by an African American company, because it's only us that's fighting.
Right.
Okay.
I ain't seen that many.
You ain't seen none of them
nobody
fighting.
else.
No, you
Yeah,
ain't seen no other culture fighting over this chicken sandwich. So I need you all to bring it in. I need y'all to get it together. I need you to do the same incentives as I said. Go and support those businesses that's
Right.
in your community. Have those same kind of lines outside of our businesses and supporting them versus just wanting to support a business that she not even the CFO or CEO. No, she's just doing the commercial. Okay, so do your investigation. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But it's been wonderful. It's been a wonderful day, and we just want y'all to stay safe. That's the bottom line. At the end of the day, my whole
Yes.
thing is I want everyone to be safe. I don't want anyone else being harmed over some chicken.
The thing
Because
is, the bird
it's
don't even
chicken in
cost
your
that much.
house. It's chicken in your house.
But it don't cost that much anyway.
Right.
We in America.
Absolutely. 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 But you guys, y'all don't know who my guest is unless you saw my sign posted on Facebook and all that good stuff. My girl Gigi here. She here. We're going to talk about her book. We're going to talk about all the new stuff she got going on because she been doing some stuff. She been making some moves that's just been like bam, bam, bam. She been just doing it. And I'm so proud of her. And so, you know, seeing her from the moment I met her, we just connected, like really gelled and just kind of stay connected. And now she done got the book out and now she doing her thing. She doing some acting. She doing some traveling. She doing and you know how we got the sisters got to still grind. She's still working a full-time job doing her thing because that's how we do business. That's how we do business. We still gotta grind, do our business, and still be out there doing what we gotta do. Plus, she's a radio. She's done radio and all that kind of stuff. She's not doing it right now. Trying to get her to come back. Just
I might look. We
you
might
know,
be talking about something.
you know, we try to get her to come back a little bit. But she had her own radio show and all that good stuff. And so, Gigi, thank you for coming. I appreciate you
so
having the
much for
time on
having
your
me.
schedule because your schedule is so. I know my schedule tight, but your schedule is so tight.
It's
and
crazy.
so I thank you. I thank you.
Thank
You
you.
guys just don't know. I watched her from afar, and then when I really finally got to meet her, it was like, oh, she really cool. She real, you know, because everybody, you know, everybody not always as cool as some of us are, but she was really, really cool and still really cool today. And so I'm just glad you could be here. Let's get the people a little bit of who you are, because we gotta, before we can talk about the book, we gotta talk a little bit about who you are in your little journey, and then how the book came, because I know the book is about some of the journey, so that's going to kind of tie it all in together and all that good stuff. So Gigi, I'm gonna give you the floor for a moment, man. Talk to the people.
Hi people, how y'all doing? If y'all not, please go over to Facebook, and that's Worldwide Flava Network. Make sure y'all, all my fans on here, I did share the video. Go over there and look at it on there.
Yes.
View, share that video to y'all page.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's how we
my
did.
Fans know. I'm like, look, y'all gotta share this. Y'all gotta keep on.
Absolutely.
But Giovanni, for those of you who are listening, everyone calls me G or Gigi. I am just the girl from Baltimore with a story. That's how I always introduce myself.
That's who you are. Absolutely.
I'm like everybody else. It's just,
no, you're not. You got a powerful, different story.
I do, but I feel like, you know, in all of the tragedy, God had allowed me to be able to use it as my testimony to help other people. Absolutely. It took me a long time to be able to talk about it. For a long time, I just would not. Really? I don't want to talk about it because I felt like, oh, don't nobody want to hear that. That's sad. That's, you know, you don't want to put a damper. But
you don't know what your story is doing for somebody
and
else.
That's what I learned over time. Like, oh, this might help somebody. Okay, I get it now. Because I used to always wonder, like, why everybody want me to tell my story? So, like, I mean, like, close to me. Why y'all want me to tell my story so bad? Like, you can go ahead and tell it. You know it. They like, no, it's your story. It's not the same. So the book came about because I have friends who are really near and dear to me who were just like, you need to put this out. You need to put this out. And I'm like, I ain't lived enough yet. I had every excuse. I ain't lived enough yet. I'm not ready. Or what if this happens as a result? Or I don't know if I want any exposure from my life. You know, I
Okay.
kind of felt like maybe I haven't done enough in terms of my career,
Wow. Okay.
and then it's not the right time to share it. But here I am. I'm like, okay, honestly, I had a moment. I was listening to Sarah Jakes Roberts. I was in the shower. I'll never forget it. I'm sitting there and I'm listening to her talk, and I'm like, that's my story too. Like, I mean, like the 13 and being pregnant thing. Only difference is she had a support system.
Okay. Okay.
And she had her child.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, maybe I really need to tell my story. Like, that's crazy. We had the same story almost.
Mhm.
I had been sitting on my book for 6 years.
Wow.
I would not publish it. I knew how to publish it. I just wouldn't. I had 3 authors. I won't say their names. If y'all are watching, thank you. They read over it for me and told me you need to add. They gave me really good constructive criticism.
Good.
Add more. Take some of this out. Save some of this for, you know, a later date.
Mhm.
So that's why I didn't put it out initially. I just didn't feel like it was right. And in me being unemployed, in the shower listening to Sarah Jakes Roberts, I was sitting there like, oh my goodness, that's it. Because I'm like, at this point, when you go through certain things, you wonder, like, what is it that God wants me to do? What do he want me to do? Do he want me to sit still? Because, you know, God has a way of making you sit still and just be quiet and listen. So I'm thinking maybe God just want me to sit still, be quiet. And then I thought about it too, like maybe God wants me to talk. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why he made me unemployed. Maybe that's why he had me sitting around trying to figure out what did I do that I needed to do, or what didn't I do rather that I should have been doing. And it hit me. That's the one thing I didn't do. I didn't publish my book.
Okay.
I had been sitting on it, and I finally struck up a plan. Like, okay, this day I'm gonna do a cover. And I played with covers, and I had my
fly
IG.
though. It's fly.
Thank you. I played with covers. It was originally 3 choices, and I
Okay.
put them up on my IG page, and I had them vote. I like to include my supporters in the process of anything that I feel like they can help me with.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, I'm gonna put these up, and they voted. I'm like, all right, we got a cover. So that was one task. Then I went through the next task. What do I want to do? Paper bag, hardback. Did price comparisons.
Correct.
And then after I did that, because I self-published through Amazon.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So I had to price compare, like what would I get in terms of my my residuals and my royalties. Like what would I get if I do this kind of publishing? Because ultimately they're basically taking a chance on you, putting it out there for you, and then they're paying you, and they're taking the percentage to pay for the cost.
Correct.
So that's what I did. I just made it a point every single day to do something. Reread over, I think it's 13 chapters.
Okay.
Reread over the first chapter. Then I would do another chapter. It was maybe a 3-week process. And then I finally was like, okay, publish.
Really?
Yeah. So
but that was easy though. That compared to what I hear some people.
I mean, because I had already typed most
Right.
of it so long ago, I had to go through and just add stuff into it because I had left off. What was it? 6 years ago? I was 22.
Okay.
And when I typed it, I had tears down my face. I had closed my laptop and I never read it again. So I had to go back and read it and figure out, oh, where did I leave off in my life when I typed this? Okay, let me go in and add so it can be up to speed.
Wow.
But yeah.
Wow, that was something. That was something right there.
It was a lot. I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to write my life story ever again. This is good enough for me. Like, because when people don't know, it's like it's therapeutic, but you relive when you're writing
the drama,
and you're like, oh my gosh, I went through this, I survived that, I did that, I can't believe I did that.
But that's a reminder of how good the God we serve is.
Yes, and
that's just that's just a reminder to remind you, hey, if you can get through that, and you thought that was the end all.
And I go through, and it's funny because I go through little stuff now, and I'll be like, Lord, what is the lesson in this? I don't say why me anymore. I'll be like, what's the lesson? What you
I'm gonna tell
now?
you when I gotta repeat something, Gigi. When I gotta repeat something, that's when I'm like crying. Like I'm really laid in the floor, sobbing, crying when I gotta repeat.
But it'll be so small and minuscule compared to what I've gone through. But I don't, and it's weird, and I think a lot of us and his flock can relate. Like we forget so easy what he's dragged us through, kicking and screaming. I want this over here, and he like, no, I want you
And
over
when
there.
he keep you from it, you be glad he kept you from it when it come back. Because see, when he takes
Yes.
something or he keep you from it, therefore he got something better for you, but you don't
Yes.
see it at the time. You just trying to have your temper tantrum. But I'm gonna tell you, like I said, I don't like to relive nothing. And when he make me relive something, because I think I got the lesson the first time, because I'm one of them kind of people. If I experience it once, I don't want to
You don't want to
experience
do
it
it
again.
Yeah.
When he make me relive something, girl,
You be like, what did I miss?
I be like, Lord, please make sure this go right. Because I swear it was just like, it was so, the second time, because you done survived it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was bad then. But when you go through it the second time, it feels like it's an even deeper dagger that's in you, and it's twisting with the spikes out the side of it real hard. You know, it's like on a whole nother level. Like, Lord, really?
So that's kind of what I went through when I was trying to figure out, because like I said, when I pressed publish, I was unemployed. I had just finished school for pharmacy, and I'm trying to figure out why, because my car had got totaled in January.
Okay.
So I had finished my schooling in November. Okay. I was due to do my externship from December to March. My car got totaled January.
Oh my God.
So I didn't think I was going to finish my externship for school to get my hours. I wound up finishing, but it was not easy. I mean, like hundreds of dollars on Uber. Mind you, like I said, that was my internship, so it wasn't paid.
Right.
So I'm unemployed, technically.
Right.
I'm like, I'm a student. I'm unemployed. I'm a mother of 2 kids. I just went to school. God, I thought you said I was supposed to have a career change. What happened? I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I missed something. What did I miss? And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to Sarah Jakes Roberts. And I'm like, oh my God, what do you want me to do? Like, what did I not do? I'm like, I mentor, I do this, I do that. I'm like, what did I miss? And then I'm like, oh, ding, the book.
Wow.
And it's weird because everybody kept saying, even at the event that you and I met at, shout out to Sonia Speak. She came up to me and she said, Gigi, yeah, so I need you to help out with the House of Diamonds, but when you gonna drop your book? And I'm like,
that day. Wow.
She asked me that day. And I'm like, ain't time yet, Sonia. She's like, girl, you need to put that book out. I'm telling you, like, she didn't read it, but she knew I typed it.
Okay.
She's like, you need to put your story out there. You need to put your story out there. And I'm like, I'm only 27. What you talking about?
Right.
I ain't lived enough yet. I'm not ready. Like, I'm like, I ain't do enough. She's like, girl, please. It ain't about what you did. It's about what you went through. You need to do that. I'm like, whatever, Sonia, because she's the real extra positive person
all the time,
and that's cool. I'm no shade, but
right. I'm
like,
but you need that in your life sometimes.
I need to put my book out right now or no. So here we are.
Well, I'm just telling you, it was just, even hearing your story when you did that one, I don't know if it was a church banquet, luncheon or breakfast or something. I think it was a prayer breakfast where you had to speak at. You was speaking at a prayer breakfast. You hadn't done the book yet, but you were talking about, you were going to be coming out with a book. I cannot remember if it was a prayer. I think it was a prayer breakfast.
It was a women's
prayer, women's something. And
that's what I'm trying to think. I'm
when
like,
you would talk, right? When you talked at that just a little bit we caught that you allowed to be live, it was just phenomenal. Just phenomenal hearing your story, talking about your journey, and as a young single mother, I just heard you say that, the difference was Sarah Jakes had help, a support system. Was your support system just not available, or did they just cut you off due to your situation?
It wasn't that they weren't available. My mother's family is not necessarily, my mother's family, my maternal grandmother's family is not religious.
Okay.
So it was more so about the embarrassment of it as opposed to the life at hand, or the lives rather at hand.
Wow.
So it wasn't about, this is not pleasing in God's sight. It wasn't about that at all. It was more so about, you're too young. It's going to fall on me. This is not going to work. Okay. You're not doing this. So I didn't have say in that necessarily.
Okay.
But my mother's father's side was the opposite. But because they weren't my custodial guardian, they couldn't
They never
interfere.
say.
Right. So I was kind of in between, and that side knew that I had support on that side. So I didn't see them for a while because it was like, no, you're not going to interfere with the situation. It was a mess. But when I turned up 16 and pregnant, because I'm a young mother, my son is now 12.
Okay.
When I had him, everybody across the board agreed that this is a mistake. This is not the best decision. My grandfather's thing, God rest his soul, but his thing was, I am going to carry this, and it's my fault, because he felt like generationally he hadn't broke the curse. My mother was a young mother, and that was his first child.
Okay.
And I'm his first grandchild, and I was doing it again. So he felt like it was him, and he took on the guilt of it personally.
Mhm.
And I'm like, no, it's not your fault. Like, I'm not, I think no one honestly is thinking when they are intimate with anyone. They're not thinking about their parents. No one's sitting around thinking about that. They're in the moment. And especially if it's, premarital, it's of the flesh. You're really not thinking about anything. So, and that's where I was. I was a teenager.
Want to live your life.
Right. Moving around in the flesh. And I wasn't thinking in the spirit.
Okay.
So I get it why he was upset, but I'm like, that's not what I was thinking. It wasn't to hurt you. But we mended our relationship. I think I was 6 months pregnant when I found out that I was having a boy, and I was due at that time a few days after his birthday.
Okay.
So I came to town like, hey, Daddy, I'm having a boy and I'm due around your birthday. And that was what broke the ice, and we mended our relationship before he passed.
Awesome.
So yeah, like that was not
awesome.
Growing up with my grandfather, I credit him, even in the book, I credit him as being the person who brought me to Christ.
Okay.
He's who introduced me to Christ. He's who helped me build that relationship, and I got saved from him leading me to that.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm amazed, because when I fell in love with Jesus,
Girl,
my
that's
goodness,
like the best thing in life.
And he was my grandfather was so happy. He was shouting and everything at my baptism. You know, you're not supposed to say nothing while the pastor praying. My grandfather like, yes, hallelujah. I'm like, oh.
Girl, ain't nothing like them family members when they that's
He
that
wasn't
one
supposed to be
saved
shouting.
member that they want. Not that you the only one, but it's like that one that they was just ready for. Like this, they could just lay out and die right then and there. Like
they just jump in the pool with you.
They like
it's not your turn.
Right. Yes, indeedy. But that's where they are as grandparents and parents, when they see that child that has had those journeys in life, and they end up saying, they did it. Like they're here. She gave her life to Christ, and they are just like, they are so happy for that one family. Not that you're the only one, but I'm sure.
No, but I get it.
Right. And it's like, wow, it just makes everything wonderful to them, because when you want your family saved, it's nothing like it. When you really have that different relationship with God, because I've always been in church. I was a church girl. I grew up, my great grandfather pastor and all that stuff. I grew up in church, but and I would church all the time. But we wasn't living right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm
right.
I'm just trying to get back right. I was a backslider for a long time.
Girl, I ain't lived right for a long time. Girl, and I lived in a house. See, that's why I had to hurry up and move out on my own. That was my thing to move out.
Same here.
I probably would have never.
I probably be grown.
I probably would have never moved out my mother's house, but because she had this strict rule,
when she go, you go.
You had to go to church on Sunday. It didn't matter.
Yeah, that was how I
once
grew
she
up.
was 18, it didn't matter. If you lived in her house, you had to go to church. So, girl, it was like, oh God, I got to get up out of here, because when I came in some nights,
and especially when
I
they
ain't want to go to church.
When they officials and you gotta be there extra early, I used to be upset.
Well, see, by that time I had my own car, but the thing was, my mother was one of them kind of people that you had to be in church. Like, you come in at 3:00 and she done flick the light on. You thinking all the house dark, she couldn't sleep. You come in, she flicked the whole light on. You choose what service you going to, and go on back to bed. And I'm like, Jesus. So of course me.
Well, at least you got that, because I didn't get to choose. I had to have my clothes out the night before.
Well, my clothes.
If we were on choir, I knew what color I had to wear. And my grandfather would be like, okay, I see you around 5 for 9:00 service. but he was an official, so we had to be there super early. Then we did Bible study, and then after we did Bible study and Sunday school, then we would go and do fellowship service, and then actual service. So we would be there all day.
Oh yeah, when I was a little girl, we had them kind of things. But then by the time I got 18, you know, you had to pick and choose what service you was gonna go to, and so she was like, you can go to first one or second one. And then the Sundays I had to sing. The Sundays I had to sing because I didn't sing every Sunday. Sundays I had to sing. I literally, you know, that's the night I ain't go out and stay out all night. But you know, real
at least
late.
you got to go out. I could not. My Saturdays were committed. We had choir rehearsal, and even if I didn't rehearse, the rule was when he left, we all left the house.
Okay.
So even if it was,
see, that was the rules we had when we were young kids. But once you got like 18, you know, things changed a little bit.
Even when I had my son at 16, and he would call me, "You taking the van, or I'm coming to get you." I had no choice. Didn't matter.
Yeah, I got you, girl.
It wasn't until I got married that he no longer was like, "What are you doing?" When I got married, it was like, "All right, you married, so."
You do your thing.
Yeah, you go ahead. You come when you come. I would call him like, "Daddy, you coming to church?" He like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be there." I'm like, "All right. Well, can you put my tithes in? I'll bring you the money tomorrow."
Okay, you was living like that, girl. That wasn't even happening on my mother's watch. Like, now you could miss church if you were tired from working, but if you had stayed out all night, basically, you know.
Oh no.
And
in my situation, when you read through, you'll understand. My situation wasn't no partying the night before after marriage, but
not after marriage. I'm talking about when you still single.
Even before that. No.
Wow.
But I had my daughter after marriage, so I had a small child and an infant. So I ain't had a time no way.
Yeah, you ain't had that.
Yeah, now I'm starting to have to live my life a little bit because they 12 and 8.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm free now. I'm a little free. I got a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. One leg.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, because my daughter thinks she my mother. So
girl, them little girls be something out. And girl, when they anything like sometimes I be just wanting my cousin, my goddaughter. She gave my cousin, you know, just my godchild, but she gave birth to her. But I swear, some days when that child is so much like, because she's a split of both of us.
Oh,
my cousin gave birth, but I was the godmother, so she got a split of both of us in her personality. So sometimes it's a bit much to deal with her. Because see, I can deal with my own personality sometimes when it's me and her.
Right.
But when I got to deal with her and her mother her and her mother, all three of our personalities,
that's a lot
and that child
of
one day. Girl, that's so much to deal with in such a hard way. That's all I can tell you. It's such a hard way.
I got just one girl, one boy.
Right.
But the thing is, they argue like they're married, and I have to referee all the time.
Yeah, but that's the love. That's the love.
My son, he aggravates her, and she chatters him to death. Like, I'm like, oh my God, just please be quiet. I'm like, Lord, please be a fence around my kids. Separate them.
Right.
I had to tell them, and you would think as much as they argue, they would stay separate.
Because that's the love
they had their own rooms.
Yeah.
I can't keep them apart.
Because if they did, they wouldn't know what to do without each other.
And that's exactly what happens. If one goes, like, sometimes
I used to watch some of your lives on stuff when you would be like stuff you would be doing with them in the house and different things, and you would just have me cracking up.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll pit them against each other for my own entertainment. But after they get too much, I'm like, okay, all right, that's enough. Like, I'm the parent in the house that likes to
right. So, I got it. So let's see about all this new stuff that I've been seeing you posting about. You got some acting things going on. You got because we got the book. Y'all got to go out and get the book. It's on Amazon. Please go support the book. It's giving her life journey and all the things that she had, and she's had to endure.
And I hope
and then prayerfully, it's going to be a blessing to you. And if it's not to you, then you bless it to somebody who you think would be blessed by the whole story. Go look her up. It's definitely worth the investment. But you got a lot going on now. You got the acting going on now. You've been doing some traveling and all that kind of good stuff. So, how did the whole acting thing finally all come together the way you wanted?
So the acting,
you've been trying it for a minute. Like you've been trying to get it together. Not saying that you haven't done your due diligence, but you've been trying to get something to work, I think,
Yeah.
more for you than just being in anything.
Right. And that's what I was careful about. I didn't want to just, and even though I was moving in the world,
Mhm.
and my saints know what I'm talking about, I was doing things that I wanted to make sure was strategic. I didn't
Mhm.
want to just jump on anything, and I didn't want to just be a part of everything, even in my moving and backsliding and all of that. But I also was vigilant, like, okay, do I want that to come back later? Now, some of the photos, I can't control it. If it
Mhm.
comes back, I've already made peace with it.
Mhm. Right.
But you know, the acting and everything, I've been trying to do small things right
Mhm.
here, right now, of, oh, I want to do probably an extra here and there. And thank God for fleet models, even though I'm not moving in eye candy anymore. I'm
Mhm.
trying now to do fashion.
Okay.
I was told many, many years ago, oh, you're 5'2", you're too short. The landscape of modeling has changed. So now I can go back into what I originally loved, fashion, and I can be a model for that now.
Okay.
And I went up to New York, so that's the traveling.
Right.
Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to Creative Mag. I just did their domestic violence issue,
Okay.
and I have not seen the cover, but I've gotten word that it's flawless. I'm excited. I can't wait for y'all to see it. The book is featured because it is a chapter of my life where I have, well, 2 chapters actually. The book opens up, if you all go on Amazon, it opens up on a little mini synopsis of what you can read for free.
Mhm.
It starts with my mother's murder, who she was killed by her boyfriend. So that was my introduction to domestic violence.
Wow.
But as they say, cycles don't stop.
Mhm.
They continue. You have to break them on your own. But I found myself in a relationship with someone who was psychologically abusive, emotionally abusive, mentally, physically, financially, any way you can think of.
Wow.
Super manipulative, controlling. So I found myself in that situation, not knowing, because I was 4 at the time of my mother's death, and I didn't have that chance to have those
Okay.
conversations with her,
Okay.
that I'm in the same thing. And it was weird because I didn't know that I was in it when I was in it. But as I started to come, as they say in the cycles of abuse, when you start to branch out and ask for help, you start to figure out, oh, this is not healthy. You think that this is what it's supposed to be like. This is what love is. He just loves me. This is what it's supposed to be like. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm doing something wrong. So that's what you start to condition yourself to think. And I figured out that if I share this in the book, then maybe I'm helping somebody. And Creative Mag, they read it. The creative director of the magazine read the book and was like, hey, I want her to do this. And I'm like, never heard of the magazine. Don't know who they are.
Wow.
The designer, nobody. My aunt is connected to the designer. And she
Okay.
contacted me and was like, hey, would you come up to New York? Like, if I just
Okay.
asked you to just come up on a whim? And I'm like, what's a whim? Like, I mean, I know what the word means, but I'm like, what you mean? Like tomorrow? She's like, no. It will be like in a few weeks, but on a weekend. I'm like, okay, that's cool, because I don't work on weekends. So
Okay.
she's like, okay, I come up, we shoot for it, and it was amazing.
Awesome.
That team in
The
New York,
pictures look great. The few that you kind of posted, the couple of things you posted
I
were
did
great.
that one like little behind the scenes video I had on the purple and gold and everything. And for those who are connected to domestic violence and paid attention to Domestic Violence Awareness Month last month, purple
Yes.
and gold are the symbolic colors of domestic violence.
Yes.
So it was crazy. But the
Yeah.
energy on set, it felt so good. And I'm finally able to do modeling the way I want to.
Awesome.
So I'm covered up. I'm becoming more of a kingdom woman.
Okay.
I tell
And
everybody
I understand,
to
but I
please bear
understand
with
the
me.
place. But see, I understand the place that you're in,
Mhm.
and you were in, because some decisions you made. You're definitely a little less mature than I am,
Right.
in the age wise. I'm
No,
speaking
I
of.
get what you mean.
And so when I was coming up, things that I wanted to do, like I wanted to be in radio, I wanted to be in acting, I wanted to do all those things,
Mhm.
but it was so many hoops and loops you had to do.
And I know what those
just
are.
wasn't,
Yep.
and I wasn't.
And that's what
ready
I
to
meant
do
by I
that.
was selective.
I understand.
Because if
And-
and trust me, I've came into situations and I couldn't I couldn't really react like I wanted to because part of it, now that I will say, part of that I brought on myself. You can't be out here half naked on the internet and think people are not going to try to shoot their shot. Like,
Right.
I put some of that on myself, but I mean, if I got a pass, then I would be like, yeah, I'm not going to do any business with that person. I'm just going to go over here. And I wasn't disrespectful about it. Like a lot of people who have made passes, I'll see them at an industry function. They'll speak to me, I'll speak, and we'll keep it moving. Right. It's not, oh, I'm going to expose you. And oh my gosh, everyone needs to know this person. I don't do all of that. I'm not a, what they call a whistleblower. I'm not, that's not what I do.
Right. and I got you. But the thing is, you know, unfortunately, people have been put in those kind of positions and we shouldn't be.
Right.
Because if you're here to genuinely help somebody, then genuinely help them.
Right.
If something derives out of it, then that's something different. But if it does not, then keep it moving.
And that's what I loved about the team in New York. Like, it was just so professional.
Good.
I mean, they had like the food ready, the makeup artist ready, wardrobe.
Awesome.
All I had to do was arrive, and they saw me on my way. They were trying to go out, like, let's all go eat. Let's go. Let's show Gigi around, because I was in Brooklyn, and they're like, let's show Gigi around. I'm like, I can't. I gotta go home.
Right.
So I went up that Saturday and came back that same. Well, no, I can't. By the time I got back to Baltimore, it was maybe 3 a.m. But I didn't even go all the way home. I was like, look, I need to go ahead and get some sleep. I pulled over. Then I hit the road again.
Okay.
And that was the end of that. But it was amazing.
Awesome.
I'll be back up there. I don't know when, but we're still trying to line everything up with the designer and the magazine. So I don't know what they want me to do next.
Okay.
But like I told
them,
so
is this a fashion magazine?
Yeah, it's
or
fashion.
Is it a domestic violence magazine?
It's a fashion magazine, but they did a domestic violence issue.
Okay.
But they also they cover a lot of social issues in general. So it'll be whatever, like, I think, what is this? Don't quote me. I think this is Lupus Awareness Month. I think.
No, that's in lupus is in May, I believe it is. So they may be just doing a spread on somebody about it, about lupus, but they do
every cause though. I don't know. That's why I said don't quote me, but it's something coming up, and they're like, we're gonna be doing that, and we're gonna be doing this, and I'm like, okay, like, wherever y'all want to use me, even if it's not for the actual cause.
So are you a lupus?
No. But you know, blessings to everyone out there who goes through it. Like some of the patients I see go through that, and it's really hard to get the medication. That's a whole nother conversation,
right? Because they all are different. Everybody's levels are different. Everybody's bodies are different. Everybody's bodies react different. And so having to have, my aunt has it, my girlfriend, she has it, and just seeing the things that she's gone through over the years, seeing how my aunt has gone through, like my aunt levels is nothing like my girlfriend's levels. Like,
some people can be really low, and then some people can be really high. It depends. But it's an eye opener though. I will say, me releasing the book has honestly been a testament to my growth.
Awesome.
Because when I released the book, like I said, I was unemployed. I didn't know, like, God, what is it that you got me sitting still for? What? Like, what did I do? What did I didn't do? Like, what did I miss? Like, what is it that you want me to hear from you? Like, what is it? And then right after I decided, oh, I'm no longer going to do eye candy, and I'm going to come back with my radio show, and I'm not going to do, and no shade, because a lot of my fan base is secular music, but I'm like, I want to go back to my roots. I went through a moment of, I just want to go back to my roots. Like, that's what I want to do. And when I decided to do that, it was like all these doors started opening the magazine. And then there's other stuff coming up that I can't talk about. But then, like, it's just,
when you release some things, God will do what he needs to do, but you gotta be in tune to what he's doing. And so when you finally did make the decision to release them, he will open doors, like literally. He will open doors.
Because I was not expecting New York. Like, no one could have told me, like, hey, back in March, oh, you're going to be in New York shooting for a fashion magazine, and that's going to be for you, for the domestic violence issue. You couldn't have told me that. I'd have been like, what are you talking about? I wouldn't have saw that. So ever since, and then like new job, he wound up giving me a promotion and I got a
See,
raise. And I'm
look at
like,
that, look
what
at that,
is going
look at
on
that,
here?
look
So
at God, look at him.
right. And I said that today. I said, God, look at you. You showing
At
off.
you. That's how,
Yes.
but that's how he will do things.
And I
We
just,
just
thought
gotta
everything
be-
was falling.
We got to be in alignment. We got to get in line. We got to make sure that we're listening and hearing him. That's why people don't understand. They want to pray all the time. Ain't nothing wrong with praying.
But you gotta be
But
quiet
sometimes you got to get quiet and hear him.
Mhm.
Because when you get quiet and hear him, then you can flow better
yes.
in what he wants you to do
yes.
and not your own.
And that's
steps.
why I said, like,
I'ma
what
tell
did
you,
I miss?
I'm right. Because see, I was one of them ones. I used to try to negotiate with God. Like I'm
guilty.
straight real with you. I used to be trying to negotiate. Like, sure enough, he tell me, and I'd be like, all right, but Lord, if we do it this way, because you know what I was always trying to do, protect me.
Not knowing he protecting you.
He already got me
you
protected.
covered already.
But you know how we do. We
Mhm.
run, you know.
We still think we
trying to-
control something when he run
And-
everything.
But when I shut that thing down, eventually got that out my spirit, he literally just be doing. He just be showing up, showing out, and just, you know.
And that's what I went through. I was like, I don't know what you want me to do, but I'm just
I love your show. I love your
yes,
blog.
obey.
Obey
Listen.
worldwide. I love what it say. Y'all just don't know.
I was like, God, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but because I mean, bills was due, and that's how it is. Always. I tell everybody now because I had like I said, backslid,
Mhm.
so I had forgotten about mustard seed faith, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm sitting here, I'm unemployed, the bills is due. I don't have no answer from my landlord. I don't know what I'm gonna tell BG&E. Oh my gosh, my phone gonna be cut off soon.
Wow.
It's a mess. Like, how my kids gonna call me? I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, where am I
Wow.
gonna get this money from? Like, I had no clue. And even though dropping the book to most people would have looked foolish because you have to wait quarterly for payouts.
Mhm.
You don't get your royalties right away. But to me, I was like, I wasn't even thinking about the money when I dropped it. I'm like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and put my testimony out. That's what he want me to do. I get it now. I get it. Okay, what else do you want me to do? Like,
Okay.
because I thought I had my whole life. I thought everything was mapped out. When I walked away from my nursing job, I was making $16.50 an hour. I thought I had it mapped out. I was a supervisor. I was like, oh, okay. I could step away from this job and go head back to school, whatever. I'm good. Like, I'm gonna change career fields, and I did almost a decade there, so I can do something else now. And then when I do this, I'm gonna have this money put away. You know how I go. But then my car got totaled, but no money put away no more because I had to get back and forth, and I had to dip into my savings to pay bills. And then when my savings was gone, I was like, all right, now what?
Now what?
And then tax season came, and then I had to get another vehicle, so I didn't have any more money. And then I paid up what I could.
Wow.
And I'm like, what is gonna happen?
Wow.
Because I thought I had everything mapped
had
out.
all the pieces together.
He
but
knocked my whole plan apart. He was like, all right, this not it.
That's why he loves when we playing. Because then he shakes it up
He make a
and
fool
give us
out of us
and then
every
give us
time.
better. And give us better. That's what the thing is.
Yes.
He ends up giving us so much better. So much better. But I am just glad to hear that things went really well in New York because I was watching, you know, your videos and watching your posts and everything. And you just always want people to be happy when it finishes. You know, you don't
Yes.
want them to be frustrated because not that things won't happen, challenges won't come.
Right.
But at the end of the process, of it all coming together, you just like, you know what, it was worth all that frustration. It was worth, you know, those are kind of things you want to hear, you know, right?
All those moments of what now?
Right. What next? Right. You know, those
we just
kind of
got
things.
over that.
Right.
He
right.
surprises you every time.
Absolutely. So in your journey with we're gonna go back to the book a little bit, or more so back into your past and life. Far as you know, with your mom being murdered by her significant other at the time, you were very young. So in that process, was your father around? Was, you know, I know your granddad was around, but was your dad around? Was that, you know, some other comfort? Because there's nothing like a mother's love. And so to lose your mom, and then, you know, if your dad wasn't around, you know, I know you had the grandparents. There's nothing wrong with our grandparents being there. But with that journey coming along, how was that for you?
I definitely had my father up until 8. So I had him limited. So he was murdered here in Baltimore. It was a robbery gone wrong.
Wow.
He had just changed his life over. He was one of those, he was one of those guys in the streets that was, a mover and shaker, if y'all know what I mean. And he had just started to get his life together. He started working at U-Haul, and he just got married, and they were about to purchase a home. So he was just starting to get himself in order. And when he was taken, and I wound up I was at the time still being raised by my great aunt, who eventually adopted me.
Okay.
So I was with her, and it was cool to have her in my life. But at the same time, she had never had children. She was also my great aunt. My mother was her niece. So she was mourning that death on top of taking on a toddler. I was 4. Not having kids. So you gotta keep that in mind. She doesn't have any children. And she was working for Baltimore City Department of Social Services at the time when she took me in.
Okay.
So at the time, I was a ward of the state.
Okay.
And they were trying to put me and my brothers in foster care, but my family fought it, got us. And I don't know how my brother's fathers wound up waiving their rights. Well, the youngest brother I know, because he was the one who committed the murder. So his father automatically, his rights were waived.
Okay.
But I don't know how my middle brother, I don't know how that happened.
Okay.
But my father waived his rights, and I was adopted. But like I said, she didn't have any children. So it was moments where I really needed my mother to talk to me about certain things. And I couldn't talk to I felt like I couldn't anyway. I couldn't talk to my aunt about it because I felt like she never had kids. She can't relate. And she would tell me, I know that's what you think about me, that because I don't have kids, you don't think I can relate. And I'm a woman too. And it wasn't that I wanted to insult her womanhood, but it was more so that I felt like, because all of us teenagers, young girls, we don't think anyone knows what we're going through. We're the first people to ever go through everything. No one knows what I'm going through. But in my case, I felt like really no one knew what I was going through. I didn't have either one of my parents by the time I was 8 years old. And I didn't have them to fall back on and say, hey, daddy, when a boy do this, what this mean? Or, hey, mommy, like when my body feels like this, what does that mean? Like I literally found out about, my changing and my, maturity physically probably a few days before it actually happened. Like, hey, if something happens, let me know. Just stay in the bathroom. I'll be in there. It was real. Yeah. Like, yeah, like it was not a, hey, this is going to be a life change and this is what happens. We didn't have that in-depth conversation. I learned that in health class. So it was a lot of me having to kind of learn things on my own. And did I learn it the right way? Probably not. But I had to pretty much seek out certain things on my own because some stuff was a little taboo to talk about. We didn't talk about that in the household, and it was not bad, but it was kind of dirty. So we didn't talk about those things. It was grades, whatever toys you want.
Well, growing up, that's how it was. Pretty much. And if she was your great aunt, that meant she was a little more mature, probably, because she was your mom's aunt. Unless she was, they had her young. They had children young. Then your mom and aunt could have been close in age at that time too. But
she was. The thing is, my great grandmother had my grandmother and my great aunt maybe 6 years apart. So they were 6 years apart, and it was 9 of them total. So they were kind of all spaced out, and my great aunt happened to be one of the older ones. My grandmother was more in the younger tier of the children. So yeah, it was a bit of an age difference, and
so they definitely did not talk at all
about
that.
Nope.
And so it's more recent years that you got the grandparents and the great grandparents might be shedding some stories, but not that more mature age.
They not
range.
Telling nothing. You have to find out on your own, okay?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, guys, we're gonna take a little break. We're gonna listen to a little bit of Jay Treese, one of our local artists. You guys know I love to support our local artists, and he is just released his album in September. So we're gonna listen to With Love by Jay Treese.
Visions in my mind, they tend to speak to me, telling me what's wrong in this world and how it should be. If we turn back the hands of time, we'll see that all we need to be is love. Love. All we need is love. Love. All I wanna do is live, love, and be free. So why can't we just let the other man be? Live your life to fullest, won't you worry about me? Cause you know what I found in me is love. Love. All we need is love. Love. Open your mind, let your heart be free. You do you while I do me. Don't you worry about what may be, cause we found a baby. Hand in hand, we reach the top. I'm black and white, brown, we can't stop. This land was started as a melting pot. We'll take it back, you'll see. Love, we in love. Love, we in love. We'll take it back with love. We in love. Love, we in love. We'll take it back with love. We in love. Love, we in love. We'll take it back with love. We in love. Love, we in love. Open your mind, let your heart be free. You do you while I do me. Don't you worry about what may be, cause we found a baby. Hand in hand, we reach the top. I'm black and white, brown, we can't stop. This land was started as a melting pot. We'll take it back, you'll see.
Worldwide Flavor Network.
And we are back. It's your girl A Michelle here on the Hot Topics Live, and we are here with Gigi talking about her new book and all the new things she got going on and all that good stuff. And just want you guys to, tune in. We want you to stay tuned in, and we want you to get the book. Go on Amazon and get the book. Let it be a blessing to you. And if it's not one to you, let it share it with someone who may have a very similar story, may need that same, push to get their story out there. But just hearing her story to let them know that you can make it through, regardless of what you may having children young, all of that kind of stuff. I understand where you were when it came to your family being one way, and it wasn't that they some of them are not always safe, but it's just they're looking at, as you said, this could hinder us, or it's going to fall back on me, and this kind of thing. And I know I can relate to that, so I understand what you're saying. And so with you being a young mother, that you still made it through. And like I'll tell anybody, it makes the journey hard, but it's not that it's not reachable. It's not that it's not obtainable. And anybody tells you differently, they're lying to you.
That's right. It's
They're
only as
lying
hard
to
as you make it.
Regardless of the fact that you may have had a child young and all of that kind of stuff, you still can survive.
Hello.
You can make it.
It's
just a journal. I know you wanted to give up. I know you wanted to give in.
All of that's in there. All of that's in the book. For those of you who have not purchased the book, the link is in my bio right now on IG. That's at _IM Giovanni. But I went through moments where I didn't want to be here anymore. I don't want to give too much, but I went through homelessness. I went through feeling like nobody cared. Like, loved ones and people telling me, no, you can't stay here. I don't have enough room. But then I turned around and so is staying there.
Wow.
So I went through.
So the homelessness was not because of your pride. It was because you got put out wherever you were, and then another person, you didn't have anybody else to go to.
Basically. And then that's kind of what threw me into that relationship.
Okay.
So it was that, how how can I say that manipulation of, oh, I have a prey, and let me go ahead and use what I feel like I have to offer to manipulate the situation and make them dependent. So I'm not trying to give too much, but that's ultimately what happened. And I'm not blaming anyone because I'm so grateful for everything I went through. Like that is the biggest part of my testimony, that I'm so grateful, because if I had not gone through all of that, I don't know what I would be today. Like I look around, and no shade, because it don't mean you got to go through hell and high water to be, successful. But some of the people, mainly in my generation, I'm a millennial, if they don't go through much, they don't have no life practice, and then when they do go through something
They
that
can't
they think
handle
is
it.
big,
They can't
right? They
handle it.
crumble,
They-
and
they-
it's like,
right. They
and I'm
can't handle
usually
it.
the one in the room, like, yeah, that's really not that big of a deal.
Like,
Like,
you can get through that.
yeah,
bro.
like that's a good one. That's easy. Like I can help. I'm like, right here, I can help you a little bit with that one.
Right.
Like,
right.
but I mean, like, again, being homeless and having a 1-year-old and going through a custody battle and being in college, like it was a lot going on. Like
Correct.
when I look back at myself 10 years ago, I said this recently to a friend of mine. I said, I really just want to hug myself from back.
That's what you got to do
I was
sometimes.
like, sometimes I just want to go back and say, girl, you're gonna be fine. Just keep your chin up. You're gonna be okay. Like,
Absolutely.
just keep praying,
Absolutely.
keep your chin up. Don't worry about nothing. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna figure it out. It's not gonna be hard.
It's not gonna be hard.
Not when you get to the finish line. Like, and I'm
Absolutely.
still, honestly, I'm not all the way there yet.
No.
I don't think
Whoever
nobody ever
is.
will.
I'm
Right.
like, who is?
But I mean, like, after all of that, and after getting a career, after a degree, after, raising children and having a home and everything, like, I'm still not where I want to be, but it took for me to go through all of those things for me to appreciate what I have now, appreciate working to get it.
Right.
Yeah.
So was your self-esteem low when you
Very.
were going through
Very,
the abusive part in your relationship? Okay.
very.
Okay.
The thing was, it was a lot of, like, this was too much. This was not allowed. So, and these were definitely not allowed. So, not saying that these make me confident, but I wasn't able to figure out what I liked, or,
Okay.
what I felt like was something that I could use to express myself.
Okay.
I had clothes checks. I had cell phone checks. And I felt like, to me, it was me. Maybe because I came in as a 17-year-old into that relationship.
Okay.
So I felt like maybe it's because I came in as a child that I'm looked at as a child. And now it's like, I would never allow anybody to get me to that point.
Okay.
I'm not doing phone checks. You're not checking my social media. You're not, and it's not my pride. It's more so also too, I don't feel like I have to go through all of that to be loved now, because I love myself. I love what I look like now. I love how
I love the song
I'm not
Me. Love you.
right. Like,
love
I'm
you.
not looking for that validation from a partner or from another person in general outside myself. Like, now I'm like, when I get out of here, I'm gonna rip this off in the car. Okay. Like, I'm at a place where I will pull my lashes off in front of anybody. Like, I'm so confident now compared to then. Like, I was still trying to figure out my skin at that time. Like I said, I was 17. I was a kid. I shouldn't even been in a relationship that serious. Like, really. I will credit my mother. She really tried to spare me. She tried so hard. And I think her approach was what was wrong. And now, like, it's funny because that's like my best friend. If I don't hear from her at least once a day, or now sometimes because she retired and I have to make appointments to see her, if I don't hear from her twice a week, we have a problem. Like, where are you? Like,
right.
But back then it was her approach, but she was right. And I have no problem with telling her. I tell her all the time, like, you were so right about him. That is the worst decision of my life.
Wow.
But I'm thankful for it.
But it was a growing pain.
Yeah, because it made me love me, and it made me figure out, what will I not accept from somebody? What is it that I expect of myself? What is it that I want in return of what the love is that I give out? What do I want return? What is it that I want, that I seek in somebody now, or even in myself? Do I want them to be like this? How do I talk to myself now? Because back then I used to say, oh, you're so stupid. Why would you do that and make him mad? Like,
Wow.
and that's the kind of
Psychological
conversation
in
that
your
you have
mind.
with yourself when your confidence is low.
Wow.
I would never. What? Now I'm like, girl, please. Like,
Wow.
you too smart for that, boo. You can't
So
be
what
doing
got
that.
you out of that? What
Oh,
got you
God.
out? Because some people stay in those situations for years.
I did. It was a 5-year relationship.
Okay.
Actively. We've been now separated for 6 years.
Okay.
Please, if anybody listening knows him, just have him sign the papers. Like, I just want to be divorced. I do.
Really?
I just want to be free. Okay. I just want to be divorced. Please help me. But anyways, yeah. So I stayed in that relationship for 5 years actively because I felt like, and I believed it. Oh, because he would tell me, oh, because I make more money than you. You wouldn't be able to take care of an infant without any help. It's not going to be easy. And for a long time, I believed that, oh, I don't have no support system because at that time, my younger brothers were, I want to say 15 to 13, going on 14. So they were young. So I really didn't have the babysitting until my mother's sister had came home from jail. Oh man, my phone died.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my mother's sister came home from jail, and when she came home, then I eventually did have a support system. But at that time, before that,
Wow.
she knew of what was going on because my brothers were telling her. I wasn't telling them. I don't know how they knew. I think my best friends told them,
Okay.
but it was going around what was going on. And I would leave. And this is really, really, really textbook. Most people that are abused, they will leave and say, oh, I just need a break. It could be for a week. It can be for a weekend. It could be for one day or a few hours. And they'll return. On average, it takes 4 to 5 times to leave before you actually leave for that final time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened with me. But I credit my grandfather with that. He passed
So
away.
did your family believe you when you
Oh
told
no,
them
they knew about him before I realized. That was the sad part. Like, they realized what he was before I realized what he was. And like I said, it's weird because when you're being abused, you feel like you can fix that person, you can protect that person. Y'all got it wrong. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. He went through a lot. His mother was on drugs and he was molested, and I had every answer for something that somebody would say because I'm trying to rationalize why it is he's treating me like this when really he's who he is, and it's not my job to fix him. He has to want to have that happen.
Absolutely.
So I didn't understand it, but my grandfather passed away January the 4th of 2013. And he had come to my rescue maybe twice. Once he came to my rescue with his wife in tow. And I had never, ever, this man has never raised his voice. He had never, as much as said anything demeaning around me to any other person, even to me. I never saw my grandfather that angry before in my life. But when he pulled out his weapon,
Okay, I wasn't expecting that.
And he put it up to my now hopefully soon to be ex-husband's head and said, hit her in front of me in our house. I never saw him like that before. And I was like, and he was like, get up, you're going with me. But again, and it's a good thing and a bad thing. But growing up in the church, I was taught that my role as a wife, I'm not to make decisions like that outside of my husband. I'm not to allow anyone to come in and say, this is what you're going to do with your marriage. So even though my grandfather was protecting me, I stayed put. I didn't leave.
Mm-hmm.
But when he passed away, it finally hit me. I don't have anybody come to rescue me now. I don't have anyone to call. Well, at least that's what it felt like because he was my hero. He was my father figure for so long. So,
but you're not supposed to be in a submissive relationship of abuse.
No.
Abuse.
No, I know now. Now that I've studied, because at that time
God don't want you staying in no abuse.
Right.
Let's be clear.
I know. We're gonna be clear, yes. Because now that I'm growing more into being a kingdom woman, and at that time I was so young, I didn't necessarily fit the criteria for women's ministry just yet. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know that wasn't what being a kingdom wife was. Mm-hmm. I thought that that's what it was because I wasn't fully educated on it.
Because there's been blinders put over people. Because you have a lot of women in ministry. Wives, pastors, wives, pastors who have been married, women. I'm speaking of
Mhm.
pastors as women who've been in those places,
Mhm.
who've literally been physically, mentally, verbally abused
Right.
by pastors. But it was misinterpreted. Yes, we're supposed to be submissive.
But not like that.
But we're not punching bags. We're
Nope.
not supposed to be mistreated.
Yeah, we're not to be
Because the
struck.
word of God speaks of that.
Right. We're not to be struck. And I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing. And my grandfather, when he passed away, like watching him, because his cancer he died of liver cancer.
Okay.
His death was so fast. He literally told me Thanksgiving the year before, he was gone that January. He wasn't sick very long. And he lost his speech maybe 3 days before he passed. And my last conversation with him was, you're the strong one. You're going to be fine. You're going to be so successful. Everything's going to be fine with you. He kept saying, you're going to be okay. You're going to make out fine. And I'm looking at him because I'm thinking it's the diluted. I'm thinking it's the morphine. I'm like, what is he talking about? Because at that time, I'm in this abusive relationship. I'm a young mother. I'm trying to get my life back on track, and I don't see what he sees. But apparently he knew. And from what I've been told, even up until the last minute he could talk, he kept saying, yeah, I'm so proud of my baby. She gonna be fine. And I'm like, what is he talking about? Like, y'all drugged him too much, because I was so in my situation that I couldn't see that I was going to get a finish line eventually. I don't know.
See where God was going to take you.
Right.
Where he's
I
taking
could
you.
not see
where
it.
he's taking you. And
but
where
my
he's going to
grandfather
take
knew.
you.
But I always credit him as to why I left. Him and my daughter. Like, when I went through, I think it was the last physical altercation with him, and I looked over at my daughter on the floor too, playing with her toys, completely oblivious to what's going on. I'm like, she's eventually going to be paying attention. And do I want her to see me be so weak? And I'm like, yeah, no.
What about your son? How was he handling it?
So that's in the book. I didn't have custody of my son.
Okay.
I had went through I was actively going through a custody battle because this person abused not just me, but him. My son was trying to protect me, and he spanked him. And that's what I meant by I was young and I was being manipulated and controlled, because I thought that it was normal for him to discipline my son in that way for that. Because my son, grabbed his leg and tried to strike him for hitting me. So I'm thinking this is normal for him to spank him because he's the adult. What I didn't know was that it was along the lines of abuse when he got bruised. I didn't know that he was going to bruise. But when he did turn up with bruises, his father discovered it when I sent him over for the weekend. Days after, I dropped him off to daycare. He looked fine. He gets him. He's there for the first night with his father. Fine. Second night he's with him. Bruised. He had put a report in because my son was 2, but my son was a 2-year-old that could talk. He could talk really clear. He knew his alphabet. He knew his numbers. Like, I practiced things with him. So he told his father, my mommy didn't do this. He did this. He hit my mommy. So because my son's father could not file on my behalf because I was an adult, he did file on behalf of my son. To this day, he has a restraining order where he can't be near his school, his word, like, for life. Those are the terms of his plea deal. So me not seeing my son, but I was helping him, being the wife and the mother in the home with his children, and they come over, but I had to put phone calls on speaker when I speak to my son. I had to get permission to possibly go see him through a relative, of course. And then if I wanted to see him at probably a birthday party with his father, I couldn't go because this person feared that I was going to see his father. It was no intimacy between us for many, many years. My son was less than a year old. We broke up. We had never gotten back together. My son's 12. Like, to this day, it's the same thing. And we're not enemies.
Right.
We're really good friends. We were high school sweethearts.
Okay.
It didn't work.
Okay.
It's what it is. But he felt so insecure that he felt like he had to control every aspect of my life.
Well, when you speak of the fact that he had abuse on his end, so that would bring all of the story of why he treats you the way that he does.
It makes total sense to me now. But
Mhm.
back then,
You didn't know any
I didn't
different.
understand.
Mhm.
But now that I've gotten out of that and I've been able to go to therapy and get, the help that I needed to figure out why I dealt with that, and then figure out from research what makes people like this, I get it now.
Mhm. Mhm.
He's not content with himself, and that's perfectly fine. But I just can't deal
He
with
lives
it.
still here in Maryland.
I've
Mhm.
I met with him a month ago.
Mhm.
It was a month ago. I met up with him, and it was to finalize everything and to build a co-parenting agreement. My daughter had not been in contact with him for maybe 2 years, and she had refused to do so because he had threatened to harm me. So at that time, my daughter was 6, and most people will argue she's a child. She's not supposed to make those kinds of decisions. But my mother, like I said, was a social worker. When I told her the way my daughter was reacting when I tried to send her again, she was like, "No, you don't send a child when they're reacting like that. You never send them." So I was like, okay. She was like, if you need me to speak in court, that's fine. I can give expert, testimony because I worked in that field for 30 years. You don't send a child when they're like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, hey, we need to meet up. She's going on now 9. She'll be 9 in June. She's going on 9. She really is going to be at a point where she needs her father, because I understood what I was like at 9. And I'm like, yeah, she's probably still going to need some kind of relationship with him. We need to figure something out. She's not going to see him overnight and stay with him until I go to court. But my thing is, let's try to work something out, because if we get it on paper, we can avoid mediation. That costs money. We can go into the court, present what we came up with, and the judge will honor it. We didn't get that far in the conversation. He showed up with his new family, which is fine. And like I told him, I wish him well. Congratulations. I knew about the child years ago. He has a son with this person. I introduced myself to her because that was my first time meeting her. And she has a son also. So look how history is repeating itself. She has a son also from a previous relationship. So I'm like, okay, let's talk. We couldn't get that far in the conversation. You wanted to discuss the book. And I'm like, oh, well, thanks for purchasing and supporting. But, like, I didn't come to argue with you. And that was my whole thing. I had like my white flag up the whole time. My hands, I'm surrendering. Like, I did not come to argue with you. I'm not here to be combative. I just want to come up with something that we can agree on. It was not that kind of a meeting for him. And I guess in his mind, that's not what he came for. And that's fine. He had his agenda. I had mine. It didn't work. I walked away with peace, and I wished him well. And I told him, let's just let the courts decide. He's like, oh, well, I can't be, well, he texted me, I can't see you or something. It's hard to see you or something. I don't know. Something along those lines of, do you want to give it another go before I pull off? And I'm like, I'm looking at the message thinking like, well, I got up and walked away from the table. So I don't know what this is, but okay. No, like,
Wow.
let's just let the courts deal with it, because we can't get
Wow.
through why you feel the way you feel before we get to the real issue at hand. Let's get this divorce finalized. And I don't know if it was lies told, but he swore me down. He answered, and I'm like, you couldn't have, because then we would have gotten summons to come in and appear. But if you don't answer, it stalls the process. So, okay, I don't know. Like, I talked to the clerk that works at the courthouse, and she showed me that you never answered. So I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Wow.
It was just a mess. But after that, I've not had any contact, because it's not.
Do
he's
he
not,
want a relationship with his daughter?
His thing is yes, and that's what he will argue online to everybody. Like last year, I don't know if you remember the "You Are Not Alone" video that was going around, of me talking about mental health. He decides that he wants to contact the admin for the page. Take this down. I'm gonna sue, and this, that, and the third. They didn't take it down, thank God. But and Tell Your Story Tuesday, down in Gaithersburg. Yep. I had did their segment, and he's in the comments going on and on and on, arguing with everybody. Whoever liked it or commented on it, he messaged them. Praise God for technology, okay? Because y'all helped me so immensely by sending me the screenshots. I was so thankful. I was like, thank y'all so much. Like,
Wow,
thank
he
you.
is something.
Yeah, he's a piece of work. So he decided that he was going to go on this smear me campaign. And I was like, okay, well, look, whatever, do your thing. I was advised by my publicist at that time, do not speak to, do not don't say a word. Like
Mhm,
I
mhm.
can't, we can't do this right now with him. We got too much on the table. I'm like, okay, cool. So we went through that. And his thing was to everybody, he's fighting to see his daughter. He's on child support. We all know that's not legally possible if you're married, but I'm like,
Well, you can, if y'all are separated, he can file to pay child support if he chooses to. You
but
can do that,
I can't.
but you can.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't know what he's talking about. He has to, you know what? But I'm like,
Wow, that's
so
interesting.
I did bring that up to him at the meeting. I said,
Mhm.
hey, she needs to have a relationship with you, and his answer was, your father's family, and you and your father's family, you sought them out, and I sought my father's family out when we got grown. I'll just wait for her to do it then. I don't know if that was his idea of just dodging child support, because I think he gets that it's a possibility he may land on child support, or it's his pride. I don't know what that was, but I'm like, you're alive and able. Why would you have her as your child and that's not her responsibility to seek you out? You're alive, you're able. That doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
So that was his reasoning, that if I have to go through you, then I'm not doing it. And I'm like, you don't have to go through me. I'm saying let's go to court. Like, we can set it up for it to be done on black and white paper, and that way is this is not what it is, and it's no confusion.
Mhm,
It's cut and
mhm.
dry.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, we gonna pray that this all works out and come
Praise the
together.
Lord, because I need
We're gonna
prayer.
pray it all comes together. Because honestly,
I don't know.
in this day and age, I think people need to learn to be good co-parents,
And I tried.
no matter what the
For
situation
2
may be.
years, I was doing great.
I understand what you're saying, but it's so many people, and it's not just women, it's not
Mm.
just men, it's sometimes both of them. I just feel like people don't understand. You do the kids
A disservice.
a disservice
Oh my God.
by not being able to get along. The kids are more resilient today. So therefore, guess what? Be good co-parents and make it happen for that child. Do whatever y'all
Yes.
got to do for that child's life.
Mhm.
And that's because I come from a lot of divorce in my family and all.
Yeah.
So for me, everybody knows I'm big on the co-parenting thing. I'm not here to not get along with the new woman.
Yeah, that's why I was
I
like, hi, nice to meet you.
Whoever
Like,
you're married to, whoever you're dating, whatever. I want us to get along because first of all, you're taking care of my child.
right.
My child is in your care. So I feel like at this point,
We need to all
we
get
all
along.
need to get along.
We a team.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're smart, you'll realize, teamwork makes the dreams work in
Hello.
all levels. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like people need to learn how to come together and
Yeah.
stop all this. If y'all just ain't make it, y'all just ain't make it. If it was meant to be, it was meant to be. It would have worked its way out. Even through all the abuse, I've
Right.
seen situations recover from those kind of situations. But then I've seen where it's best for everybody go their separate ways and keep it moving. But the children, don't make the kids suffer. Don't make
Right.
the kids have to, wish they woulda, coulda not had you in their life.
Mhm. And that was my thing. Like, I made it a point to say to him, like, I am not speaking ill about you. I don't speak ill about you to her or around her.
Mhm.
However I feel about you has never been shared in earshot of her or to
Mhm.
her. I don't do that because I'm not trying to build up that rebellion,
Mhm.
because I was that girl who went through
Mhm.
the rebellion.
How is your son though?
My
How is your son after do all
of that?
Yeah.
So my son is even though he's 12, he's a lot more mature, obviously, because of that. So I have a thing with him that when I'm able to legally date and be open to that, then I will definitely, I made a promise to him when he returned back into my care that whomever I date, if you don't feel right about them, you share it with me, it will not go further, because I don't want to go through that again. And now my son's older, and his father's 6'4". So my son is literally taller than me right now, 12.
Mhm.
And I'm like, he's gonna be having his testosterone kick in, and I don't want him to be like ready to fight nobody. I don't want him to have no record because he's really very protective of me. So I'm like, yeah,
That does kick in that mode with them.
yeah. And I'm like, and he's eye level to most men.
Mhm.
So I'm like, yeah, no, he's still my baby.
Mhm.
Like,
Absolutely.
I'm like, no, I don't want to put him in that position to be uncomfortable. And especially now, not saying that he didn't matter, but now that I have a daughter too, my son is hyper vigilant because he has a little sister and a mother, and he's the only guy in the
and
house.
he's not going to take that.
Exactly. So he's very vocal to me
Mhm.
about what kind of stepdad he wants.
Okay.
He's very vocal to me about what he thinks I should be treated like. And he'll say stuff like, "Mommy, when you get married one day, again, you get married again, I'm going to walk you down the aisle." So he's very like, he's
Good.
optimistic, but
Good.
he's vigilant.
Good.
He's
Good.
not letting nobody talk to me anyway. If he feels bad energy, and it's been crazy because he's felt bad energy from relatives, and he's like, "Mommy, I don't like them." I'm like, oh, okay. Like, he's really to the point.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
no, they ain't, that's not it. They not it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, you know, kids know from the mouths of babes. That's how it is
Yes.
sometimes, you know.
He
but,
is so honest.
You know, we gonna pray that, you know, God works all that out.
Thank
And
you.
we just want people to, you know, be encouraged.
Mhm.
Her journey in life through mom and dad being both murdered at different times and having to go through abuse herself. She's had some journeys. So therefore, her story could be a story that you could relate to in some sort of way, if not the whole book. But that book could be a blessing to you or someone you know, because you know someone who may be in a situation. And especially, you know, when you ladies are young,
Yes.
and we've all been young. When we've been young, we tend to find ourselves, you know, because we sometimes looking for love in all the wrong ways. We
Mm.
want to be loved, and therefore we accept. Because I can't
Anything.
always say that it's always a self-esteem thing. Sometimes we accept because
We
what
settle.
we want, we settle for what we
Mm.
desire. So it's like, okay, I know he loves me, but anybody beating you up, anybody putting their hands
No,
on you
that's
or
not
your
love.
children, and whether it's their biological or stepchildren, because it could have been, even still, I've seen it where it's done all of those.
Yep.
And it's not healthy
At all.
at all. So find yourself in a place that you want to share this book, you want to share her journey. And at this point, I want you to give information. If people wanted to find you to become a speaker at one of their events, come and buy your book, all that kind of stuff, your social media, give them all the information, because your story not just needs to be heard on the radio, but it needs to be heard in thousands of people, because you have a diverse situation where your journey has just been up and down.
Yeah.
It's been like a machine.
Seesaw.
It's been like a pulse machine.
Yep.
It's been like a pulse machine, up and down.
Mhm.
You've had your good journeys, your bad journeys, your good journeys, your bad journeys, and but it all worked for your good. We do know
Right.
that, because God is working things out in your favor. But we just need your story to be shared to so many young women who are wanting to give up. So many young men that want to give up,
Yeah.
because just because you're writing the book and it might be about a woman, but your journey could still be that same journey, just from a man perspective, being a young
Mhm.
father,
And it's
losing
funny
your
'cause
parents, you know, all of those kind of
I've
things.
been approached by single fathers who have come to me, who have read my book or have heard my testimony at events or even on live, and they say to me, "You know what? You're probably the only person I feel safe enough to talk to, because most
See?
people," and the thing is, men have said to me they can't talk about these things amongst their group of peers because it's looked at as either weak or no one else has ever gone through it. So they don't have anyone to
They just
express
talked
that
about.
to.
They just talked about that last night on
Right.
Man Cave. We have a show here called
Wow.
Man Cave,
Yeah.
and they just talked
And
about that last
I get
night.
so many messages from, like I said, single fathers or men that are going through divorce and
Mhm.
who have been hurt,
Yes.
and they're like, I just need advice.
Mhm.
I just need somebody to talk to.
Yeah, I went through that when I was going through my divorce. Like,
And but the thing
I
is,
was like,
I
Lord,
just
why you
shared.
sending it? When I'm like, Lord, why you sending these people to me?
But I just shared though. I had never
Wow.
publicly, and I've
Okay.
never acknowledged publicly until recently that I am still married and I'm still trying to
Okay.
get divorced. I had,
Okay.
out of all the years of radio,
Okay.
out of all the years of modeling, I had never shared it until I
Okay.
did the book.
Okay.
So I never shared it. And when I
Okay.
did, they were coming in like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like you're so cool. Like I really need to talk
Mhm.
to you though, like because I'm going through this. And I'm like, I didn't know like it was. So
Yeah.
I did generalize the book. Toward the last chapter is called Finding G. And though I'm used it to talk about me coming to into myself,
Mhm.
I also use that chapter to encourage other I call them my butterflies
Mhm.
who are going through their change, who are going through their metamorphosis. And I
Mhm.
went through the different stages. So y'all will understand on the last chapter, you'll understand what from chrysalis to butterfly means.
Okay.
So that's what that chapter was all about, to explain that it's different cycles for a butterfly to go into getting their wings, and everybody is at different phases.
Absolutely.
So men, women, all y'all are butterflies. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
But I did generalize it for that reason, because I was getting so much feedback,
Mhm.
not on the book, but just in general, people sharing.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh wow, okay. Because at first the ending was for my women.
Okay.
And then once that happened, I was like, oh, I gotta go back and make this gender neutral,
Neutral, right.
because I'm getting, and
You're
it's
getting
weird
feedback
because I
from
get
both.
a lot of feedback from men. In
Mhm.
comparison, I'm gonna
Mhm.
just be real. The men give me more feedback than the women.
Mhm.
And I was shocked, like, because men usually aren't really allowed to be vulnerable.
Mhm.
So for them to be vulnerable enough,
But they felt
to,
a safe space with
Right.
you, and that's why they were able to be that
exactly.
way. And that's what one of my cousins told me, because I said, why would people be referred to me?
I thought it was
like,
weird too. I'm like, whoa,
I'm like, I
wait a
don't
minute.
even know if I'm doing this right, Lord. Like, I
Hello?
mean, I was
like,
I was my
didn't
own
say I
lawyer. I
wanted
couldn't
to
even afford a
minister.
lawyer at the time. I was going through my
That's
divorce.
what I'm
So
doing.
I was like, Lord, I don't even know if I'm doing this right, but you're gonna refer people to me?
Yeah.
Like, but that's what God will
But
do.
the thing was, I wasn't even trying to minister, and everybody kept saying to me, like, gee, this might be your ministry. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm a minister. Like, I just want to share my story and help other people see themselves in me. That's it. I don't want to, have a title. I don't want to have that the pressure of that influence. I just want to just pour into people. That's it.
Got you.
So I did not expect that reaction at all. Like,
Right.
that was not the intent. The intent was not to make people flock to me and tell me all their stuff. Like,
Right.
which is fine. I'm not saying stop. I'm
I've
just
never
saying
been
I
one, but I just seem to have
yeah. I'm
that
like,
look,
oh, okay.
like I could be in the store, I could be anywhere, and it's like, how you go in the store and you just don't want nobody really say nothing.
You
just
trying to
wanna
get in and
what
out.
you're and it's always the moment I'm feeling like that is the moment somebody gonna stop me. Either
Yep.
somebody I know or somebody I don't know.
Yep.
Those
That's
are
how
the
it
kind of
goes.
things that happen. But I want you to share with everybody, give them your social media and all that kind of good stuff, how they can reach you if they wanted you to be a speaker, if they want to get your book, they want to reach out to you, just to be able to share.
Okay, so if you all want to friend me on Facebook, that's GIOV as in Victor, AN as in Nancy, N as in Nancy, GGGIGI Hawkins, or you can go ahead and friend me on IG. That's @_I am Giovanni. And or you could just hashtag Bezos Radio. All of my pages will come up if you do that in Google, or you just Google Giovanni Hawkins. The book should come up. Yeah, that's everything. You, like I said, you can just Google me. It's a lot easier. But yeah, that's everything. All my pages are public. I'm at capacity on Facebook. I always tell everybody still hit follow, because
Right.
I keep most of my pages are public posts. I mean, my posts are public posts, so you can still see what I'm posting.
Right.
If you don't want to miss anything. But always feel free to inbox me if you need somebody to talk to, because I went through not having someone to talk to. If you need someone to talk to and you're in the midst of whatever storm you can relate to that I've gone through, whether it's abuse, suicide, depression, just feeling alone, death, anything, you can message me. That's fine. I might not get to you right away. Be patient. I do work a day job. Usually 8:30
Absolutely,
to
we
5:30.
do.
So sometimes I'm not able to answer you straight away, but please don't hesitate. I make it a point to always try to answer everybody. And if I do get to you later, I'll say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I just saw this. But
Right.
yeah.
Thank you so much. I just
Thank
want you to know
you.
I appreciate you coming on tonight. And
Thank
as you know,
you.
we here on Hot Topics, we always want to end on a good, not that things have been bad because we've had a wonderful show, but we always want to be encouraging to someone and understand that, again, her journey could be the blessing to your life as well, just by reading the book. But we want to pick out the fact that there is domestic violence out here and it is real.
Yes.
Whether it's physical, mental, all of that, it's real. And that could be on yourself. Someone could do it to you. It could be your children, all of that. And so therefore, we want you to get the help that you need. Don't sit back and just accept it. We know that there are hard times out here and there's struggles out here, but I'd rather see you still be alive, you and your family still be alive, than
Yes.
to stay in a situation that you really don't have to be in. I know it's hard out here. We've all been down some roads. We've all had some
Yes.
struggles. Okay. But therefore, domestic violence is real.
Mhm.
Get help if you need help. Be good, effective co parents. Don't stay in any abusive relationship. And if you're dealing with grief and all of that, go get help. It's okay. I know we've grown up. Some of us grew up in the era that, counseling is not good.
Mhm.
They lied to us.
They sure did.
Counseling is the best thing that you could ever do for your life. So get some help, whether it be for domestic violence, whether it be for grief, whether it be for anything that you need just to talk to someone. Get the help. Trust and believe you will feel better when it's all said and done. You will be looking out for your healthy living. And when I say healthy living, I'm not speaking about eating. I'm talking about having a healthy life in relationships with
Yes.
your family, your spouse. You don't realize how the past can really cripple your future if you don't get help.
That's right.
So we want to encourage you. Don't let this go by. Just keep on seeking God for help. But more than anything, get professional help if you need to. Seeking God is wonderful. He's everything.
Yes.
But he put these other people in place to help us out,
That's
to
right.
get the help we need. So we want to encourage you this week. Think about it, pray about it, and be about it. I love you, but God loves you better than I ever could. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.